Alrighty, everyone. Alex here, back with some more Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. We segued into the next mission immediately after the last one, where Titus, Gadriel, and Chiron went down into Demirium, and they went into a dig site, which turned out to be a Necrontyr tomb, and very big, very cool looking. Fought a lot of Thousand Sons cultists and Space Marine and Chaos Marines. Had some nice references to the first game, and then we fought we went and found Morius Luz, who personally I wish would have been in the game longer. I really think they could have done more with him. But, yeah, he activates Aurora, which, of course, attracts the Thousand Sun Sorcerer, Imura. And, of course, not too surprisingly, turning on the big bad warp machine have caused very bad things to happen. And, yeah, Morius got played like a fiddle. And he dead, and we fought a Hell Brute Thousand Sons Chaos Warped Dreadnought, which was a little bit of a frantic boss fight, because much like with the Hive Tyrant, I didn't really know what I was doing, because he kept chasing me, and having played the operations levels again off screen, and looking up what the heck I'm supposed to do. Turns out how you dodge those radar-like AoEs is just to dive straight into them as the wave happens. So basically ride the wave by diving into the wave, if that makes any sense. And of course, after Aurora, or whatever the heck it is, turned on, we, Titus and the rest of the squad made a break for it, and now we're in the next level, Bellum, what's it called? Bellum Sempiternus, which I looked it up. It is a Latin word, like I assumed, just like Bellum is. And if Bellum means war, well, Sempiternus basically roughly translates to everlasting or eternal. So the full Latin phrase is basically, in plain English, eternal war, or everlasting war, or war eternal, war everlasting, however you want to say it. So it's, yeah, basically, well, Warhammer 40,000 in a nutshell. That's basically what it means. So, I meant to come back yesterday to continue this, to go on with this mission, but I didn't have any time yesterday. I kind of just crashed out and watched some other VTuber streams, specifically Lifu, who I recommend, by the way. Her and her husband, Zen, are pretty amusing and wholesome. I recommend them a lot.
Titus to Acheran. Do you read me? Damn it. How could that fool Luz not have known?
He took the whisperings of that sorcerer to be his own inspiration.
Luz was merely a pawn. They killed Nozick. Led us to believe they would do the same to Luz.
So we would deliver him precisely where they wanted him.
And that spectacle in the catacombs. Deceit. to trick that puppet Luz into finishing the work.
Yeah, they didn't do what they did entirely like last time, where a Chaos Demon killed Inquisitor Drogon and pretended to be him. This time they did an Ares from Wonder Woman and just, set up Luz to be the fall guy to trick him into activating Aurora to do whatever evil warp stuff they're going to do. So yeah, it was nice to see the Necrons downstairs, or rather the structures, or rather their tombs. I do wonder if Necrons will be a future enemy for the third game, which, by the way, that kind of reminds me, Space Marine 2, from what I understand, has largely been glazed for its campaign, and with good reason. The campaign's fun, and the operations are also fun, especially since you can kind of play them at your however you want. However, I have heard that a lot of criticism has been thrown at the game, and especially Saber, for a rather lackluster treatment with regards to post-game support. I mean, yes, there's been a lot of updates and new DLCs added to it, and of course, those free operations missions, four of which I've played now, and of course, everyone that I've mostly Fleekazoid I've heard it for, but I've heard it from other people too, that a lot of people didn't like the Eternal Ward PvP mode, in which it's just 6 players versus 6 players in a paltry amount of maps. And yeah, from what I've seen, I haven't played it, obviously, because I don't have PSN to do multiplayer. But from what I have seen, yeah, the criticism is very much justified, because it's like, really, that's it? Just 6 versus 6? And 3 or 4 maps? And, heck, you can't even, as far as I know, you're stuck with just so-and-so costumes for the Chaos side for multiplayer. Whereas Space Marine 1 allowed you to customize both however way you wanted to your heart's content, depending on how much was available. And honestly, from what I have seen, and I personally played the first game, so I don't know how much you can really take my opinion, but from what I think Space Marine 1 had the stronger multiplayer. I think it had more players involved. Definitely couple more maps involved. Not to mention, it did have a Horde mode that was added much later. Oh, and you could control a Dreadnought. They added that very late into the game's life, but they did, and people liked it. And from what I've gathered, Saber kind of just threw their hands up and went to go make on the next Space Marine game, which a lot of people wanted them to make an expansion to 2 as far as campaigns go, but honestly, I think it's wiser for them to just take what ideas they have and want to do good stuff with and just save it for a proper third game. So that way you can focus all your resources and your income that you earned from this game and throw it into that game. However, I will admit, I do kind of agree that, yeah, and of course they let a very small skeleton crew of people behind to continue shepherding the multiplayer. I, of course, am not a big multiplayer person, so it doesn't really affect me that much, but for everyone else who was looking forward to it, I kind of get it. I do understand. So I definitely sympathize with people being cranky over lackadaisical post-launch support when it comes to the general multiplayer. The campaign is fantastic so far, although I do have problems with the fact that some bosses that I would have liked to have fought in the main campaign were cordoned off to operations. Wouldn't it have been much cooler to have seen I keep calling him Captain, Lieutenant Titus, facing off against the Hive Tyrant and tearing him apart in a glorious finisher? I would have liked to have seen that. Sadly, we didn't. So I hope that for Space Marine 3, we get a lot more boss fights for the single-player campaign for Titus, and not having a lot of the clearly, objectively cooler bosses being thrown into a side mode. I mean, I get what they were trying to do with this game, being a giant operation involving multiple squads of Marines, meaning Titus is doing one thing while other people are handling other problems, but still, that's just my own personal little, okay, I get it, but I wish you didn't do it that way kind of thing. So hopefully with 3, they will, now that they've Saber's gotten their feet wet with this one, they can improve further with the third one. And hopefully we have more armor customization for the campaign in the third game, as well as more boss fights, and of course, maybe allowing the armor to be that we choose to be reflected in the in-game cutscenes, unlike this game, which doesn't do it. It would be nice, but that's all on my wish list for right now. Anyway, new level. I've gotten my little rant out of the way, if you could even call it a rant. Oh boy, just like Gaia all over again.
This is worse than I could have imagined.
That pillar floods the land with corruption.
Titus to Acheron, come in.
Fox is useless.
We must find our brothers.
And again, as much as I really wish Mark Strong had replied, ooh, look at that. Freaking sigils glowing in the air. I am really liking Clive Stanton as Titus. Again, it's weird with the fact that he's clearly sounds much younger than how Mark did it. So it's kind of one of those, we're kind of still a great performance, and if Clive is still around with the next one, I look forward to hearing his performance.
Canadians,
they are broken.
Oh yeah, they can't handle the chaos energy.
His feathers loose in the empty air. Oh, see us dance in the wake of his blessed wings.
Oh, they're gone. Yeah, they're regular run-of-the-mill humans. They can't handle all this chaos energy. They're basically dead, and they don't even realize it. By the way, we have not heard a peep from Major Sarkana since we left Kadaku. Uh-oh, he's having a moment. I wonder what happened.
The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects.
Oh, she's trying. This one right here. She's trying, barely. She's barely holding it together. God bless her. Emperor bless her soul. We were over here, right? Yeah, we were.
Out! Out! I am a daughter of Cadia, and I will not yield.
Another strong one.
it is that monstrous obelisk. It screams a silent wail of corruption.
Their human minds were not prepared for malign energies of this magnitude.
Nope.
Few are.
Should we show them mercy?
We must leave that to the Commissariat. We have more pressing duties.
Please. Please. Just one more glimpse of it. I beg of you. Just a glimpse.
Medic.
In my eyes, the sowing season has not turned. The ground is still cold. Warm the seeds with your breath. Cold hand. Cold hand. How can I be myself if I don't know who I am? I am me. I am me. I am just as I am. I never get tired of it. I dreamt I saw the Emperor. Ah! Feathers flying everywhere. Feathers. 9 years of feathers. Feathers, feathers. This is the last thing I will say before I cut out my tongue.
He's gone. What is the significance of that number 9 they keep blabbering about? Like, what does the number 9 signify for Zeech?
I'm receiving a coded locator signal. Akaran signature. Not far from here.
Can we trust it?
I believe so.
Mark it on Auspex.
Yes, brother.
Wants to go that way. Bolt rifle with grenade. That's what I have on me right now, right?
Let us get to work.
Marksman. Do I want the power sword or something else?
They will not get past this.
I'll do power sword.
Cut down those heretics!
Aliens, are you of sound mind?
Yes, my lord. We are unbroken.
You honor your homeworld's memory, soldiers.
Regiment, we will fight to the end. Your treachery ends now.
Sheesh.
Munitions secured.
Are you alright, Godsman? Only one? Oh. Okay, hold on a second. Yes, yes, phone, thank you. My Lady Death posters have arrived. I already got them. Okay, 2 guardsmen survived. At the very least. I would imagine it's the pure Cadians with the purple eyes that are surviving the hardest.
Damned heretics spill from every crevice!
Luz was so convinced Aurora would destroy the traitors, but instead it has empowered them. Tremendously so.
We need to clear that obstruction.
There must be a solution here.
That foul sorcerer took the power source.
Somewhere well defended, no doubt.
delusions. Damn delusions. They were demons.
Oh no, he killed his own men by accident. They hypnotized him.
How does this compare to Grya?
Incalculably worse. A warbrift of such size will permit the darkest of horrors to pass through.
The fleet will be preparing an orbital barrage.
Then we must hurry.
Oh no, another space marine. It won't let me pick up the thing.
Reloading. Traitors!
Back to the walk, you.
We thought your squad dead.
We were spared that fate.
The captain awaits you inside.
Courage and honor.
Courage, honor.
For the primer!
Courage and honor. I couldn't pick up the Guardian Halo back there for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Brothers, be mindful of the casualties.
Yeah. 4 souls. I like this.
Shooting. You're all right.
He'd gone mad.
You're all right now.
Killed 7 before anyone knew where the shots were coming from.
He's gone.
He was mad. Empress, strike me down if I'm lying.
I know.
You believe me, don't you?
Sure.
I like this. I like that you have Imperial Guardsmen being given shelter by these Ultramarines. They're not just treating them like whatever, who cares. Like, this is what I just like the first Space Marine game. The writers for this one really knew how to write them. It's like, yeah, they're brutal post-human warriors, but it's like, and the setting is super grimdark. But if anything, I think it makes hopeful moments like this more special. And if you want to make these your model warriors in such a brutal environment, well, this is as good a way to do it as possible.
I have lost 1 platoon with 5 more at half strength.
Sarkana, she's alive.
24 men, then shot himself. The weaker-minded are gone. What's left will fight to their last breath.
Thank you, Major. Ready your men to advance alongside us.
She's alright. She's actually still sane. Sane and breathing. Stalker rifle, Melta rifle, chain sword.
Titus, report. What in the name of Holy Terror do you call this?
We failed to stop Luz.
I can see that.
He was tainted. An unwitting puppet of the arch-enemy.
We are now facing a warp rift the size of a small cruiser. 3 volleys from the Resilient and not a scratch on that pillar. If it has a weakness, I need to know what it is.
It is powered by the artifact from Grya. If we can destroy that...
Where is it?
We do not know.
You call that a solution?
What is the alternative?
There is a field around the pillar, impenetrable to our ordnance. We have observed their forces passing through it on foot. We must get close enough to see if we can do the same. Proceed through those doors. We make our assault imminently.
Betrayers of the Emperor, slayers of purity and brotherhood. Insolent, base heretics. Tell me, brothers, what is the price of betrayal? Death. What is the fate of those that turn from the light? Death. And what will you cry as you tear into the traitor's heart? Death, death, death! You who art vengeance incarnate. You who art the first and last bastion of hope for mankind. You sons of Gilliman! Go forth in the name of the Emperor! And lay waste to those who would defy his righteous word! For the Emperor! For Ultima!
You know, I just it's something that's kind of bugged me for as long as I've known about him. You know how a lot of the Ultramarines have names based on Greek and Latin, primarily Latin, but you get what I mean, right? Well, I find it hilarious how their Primarch Robute Guilliman, his name does not sound like it could have come from ancient Rome. Every other Ultramarine has a name of a sort, but not Gilliman in with that very hard to pronounce first name. I still don't know how to properly pronounce the first name. Does anyone know? I don't know. At this point, it's kind of like a whatever kind of thing, but it sounds French to me. But yeah, I find it kind of funny how compared to the rest of the Ultramarine legions, his name just doesn't match. I just think it's kind of funny is all. There's the chaplain doing his thing.
Our forces are divided in two. I will lead the main assault from the Temple of Aethor. I sent 2 squads to move on the enemy's flank, but we have lost contact with them. They are carrying the company standard. If they have fallen...
We will retrieve it, Captain.
Ultramarines, ready!
Let's go.
The front is beyond this bridge!
What is that thing?
Look out! Helldrake, spread out!
Charge!
That accursed obelisk grants the enemy unlimited maneuverability.
Have you considered Exterminatus?
This is a burial world, Titus. If we fail to defeat the enemy, then I will burn this place. But I would prefer to not disgrace these honored dead.
Can our scans locate the signature of the power source?
We are blinded by all the interference.
It is out there, at the heart of that profane madness.
Agreed. One way or another, we must reach that obelisk.
Then we shall.
Can't break that. Pity. Don't see any more data slates.
Titus, proceed on until you reach the second force. Hope to terror they still stand.
Yes, Captain. The Emperor protects.
Good hunting, brother. Second company! Make ready!
Damn, this is awesome. Bolters roaring, lasgons firing.
I heard the supply was leaked.
Bloody Heldrick. It's wreaking havoc out there.
We'll need to start rationing ammunition.
We slow down our shots and they'll come crashing through our defensive line.
If we don't slow down, we'll be throwing rockets at them before long.
Good thing I brought my old slingshot then.
See me laughing, Holland?
No, sir. Never.
I thought it was funny.
Hold off on using grenades until my signal. It's going to get a lot tougher the closer we get, so we'll need those frags.
Understood, sir.
Stavros, we're getting hammered by enemy air support. Round up any heavy weaponry that can knock out those damn flyers.
I'll see it done.
We can expect heavy losses in the assault. Have the medics prioritize wounded that can return to combat. The others will have to wait. I'll make sure they understand. We move any minute now. Be ready. The Emperor protects.
The Emperor protects.
I cannot fathom that 10 of our brothers may have fallen. Along with the standard.
I dare not picture the company banners soiled by treacherous hands.
Ultramarines do not fall without a fight. They are alive. But they may be in need of support.
And we must move quickly.
Don't see any more data slates.
Very good.
Let's go out there with some heavy, with the big guns, shall we?
Where is your false god's power now?
Target the witch.
Oh, I got sent flying. I love it. I love it. Who's there? Oh, nobody. There's bodies flying, bolters roaring, enemies screaming. I love it. Femur fragments. I hope y'all have your blood ponchos handy.
See how the priests maintain these graves, even in the midst of this war.
Their devotion is commendable.
We must hurry. Our brothers pay in blood for every second we delay.
They should be on the other side of that door.
Servo skulls tending to graves. But what about data slates? Give me my slates, damn it. There it is. Is it number 2 or number 3?
Temerium is honored to provide temporary rest to several deceased space marines of the Salamander chapter. They are sons of their primarch, Vulcan, of whose fate the Imperium is unclear. Loyal to the Emperor, these salamanders hailed from Nocturne. Their actions were pure and noble, paragons amongst Astartes. Through their loyalty and their glorious deeds in service of the Imperium of Man, we honor them until the day Vulcan returns and claims these bones. Temerium is honored to inter their remains.
Ah, so some salamander space marines are buried here too, eh? I love how the salamanders, despite coming from a volcanic world, why is the Guardian Relic not being picked, allowing me to pick it up? I don't get it. What's the point? It's like, I don't have it right there, you see? It's like, why won't it? It won't let me pick it up. Is there a bug? I don't know. But anyway, the salamanders I hear are like, they come from a volcanic hellscape of a world. Their skin charred black from living in that environment for thousands and thousands of years. And yet they're like among the more nicest guys in the 40K setting. You'd think they would be utterly vicious, but nope. They're just big 9-foot tall teddy bears with a dragon insignia on their shoulder pads. I love them. I have the 3-book omnibus on my shelf. I need to read it. Heck, the salamanders are even allowed to see their families. Something the other Space Marines don't get the luxury of.
Brothers! The standard! It lies crumpled in the dirt like a rag.
Lieutenant, what are your orders?
We fight! Brothers, assemble around the standard! Victory or death!
Yes, brother. Victory or death!
Second Company! We hold this ground in the name of the Primarch! If we die with vengeance on our lips!
Get up, Thaddeus! My leg is gone, brother! Cover him!
All formation! Back, you treacherous scum!
Thaddeus!
He has fallen!
Vengeance! There is no end to them! There is, or we shall find it!
Calgar.
Lieutenant, I received your message. Briefly.
Marnius Brass Balls Calgar. He got our message.
Appears to be the source of their power. It's protected by an energy field.
Give me a solution.
We've hit that shield with everything we've got. Nothing gets through. My lord! There may be a way. In the catacombs, Lou said all it took was a transference of alignment. And then he inverted something. An object.
What of it?
It was identical to that obelisk.
You want to invert that?
Explain.
Your aura device might have a weakness.
Might?
Captain Master, we cannot stay here.
Lieutenant, you stand by Sergeant Gadriel's assessment.
I do.
Captain Akaran, muster your company.
Aye, Chapter Master.
That was
Brothers,
awesome.
The heretics clamor for a taste of victory. But we will defy them this day, as we have defied them for 10 millennia. We are the sons of Ultramar, servants to the Emperor and guardians of the Imperium. Let these wretches feel the wrath of ancient vengeance!
My lord, our vanguard forces are through the field.
Hit them hard, Captain!
Yes, lord. All forces, fire at will!
Dreadnoughts, tanks, marines were going in.
Yes, my lord. Captain, form a defensive line here.
Company! Defensive line!
Brother Titus, you will have only moments to execute your plans. Move quickly.
This must be the control unit. Do you understand any of this?
No.
Lieutenant, do we have a solution or not?
Stand by. There.
That could kill you.
We're out of options.
Just do what Luz did.
Brother! I'll live. My lord.
How many more?
3.
You have brothers in mind.
Viridian and Talassa. We will handle the last one.
I'll get them moving. Brief them over the Vox.
Yes, Captain. Viridian, Talassa, have you received new orders from Akaran?
We have, brother. Moving to Point Alpha now. Talassa en route to Point Beta.
You will need to rotate the small replica of the obelisk. But be warned, it will hurt.
Not as much as it will hurt the treacherous bastards out there. Pain deepens devotion. I will gladly volunteer.
Go well, brothers.
Okay, so we're not even, so we're still on the same level. That moment with the banner, that was awesome.
Brothers! Titus, the heretics are seething from the blow you just dealt
victory with you here, do you? Terminator! I've slain a Templar.
Oh shit, even more of them.
That colossal demon hounds our forces.
What exactly are we doing with these obelisks?
The Aurora device opens a rift to the Immaterium, a gateway. These smaller obelisks appear to be the keys to that gate.
We turn the keys and lock the gate.
Exactly.
Through this door, brothers!
Go!
Restocking!
Your treachery will be punished. Heretics, cast them into the abyss.
Do not spare them your wrath.
I have to reload.
There goes one.
Look! See her with writhes and agony. 2 left. Talassa, report.
This is Straben. It is done.
May the Emperor bless you, Straben.
I am but a lightning rod for his will.
You may rejoin the main effort.
Drive the blade in deep, brother. Talassa out.
Resupplying!
Oh, I wish we could do the operations mode first before this, but nope, they're not going to be a choice. There's the third slate.
The amount of deceased on Temerium is currently 91,600,452,023. The amount of deceased on Temerium is currently 91,600,900,471. The amount of deceased on Temerium is currently 91,600,000.
91 trillion? Oh, God. There's that number again. What is the significance of the number 9 for Zeech? I'm unaware. Anyone know? Because I don't know. I'm not that much of an expert on the lore.
Terminators. They have destroyed the bridge. Watch their fire. They have the advantage.
That is Sergeant Ventien's assault squad.
Their close quarter skills are truly without match.
Cool.
I have a route. Marking it now.
That was so cool. Like angels and death indeed.
This plan of yours may actually work, Gadriel.
An idea is worthless without those that execute it.
I think my hearing is damaged. That sounded like humility.
Yeah. Okay, what do we... Melt, knife, Oculus. Basically everything I already have.
Restocking.
Gadriel, why are you walking into the wall?
Back to the walk with you. Reload. Munitions secured.
Here comes some more.
Using frag grenade. Reloading.
Dreadnought. Oh! Ow. Ow.
Stabilizing Vipers. Restocking.
Oh shit!
Melt them off prime.
Come here, you big... Oh shit! Fuck off.
This will serve.
Whoa, no! Shut the fuck up.
That thing was made to suffer, and it has.
Titus, Decimus has a hold on the obelisk controls. Throne that looks like torture, but he is holding fast.
The demon is further weakened.
A lord of change.
Decimus.
I have a murderous headache, but the sight of that beast reeling is a fine tonic.
It is indeed.
Permission to join the front lines.
Granted. My thanks, brothers.
Emperor be with you. Viridian out.
One more.
Well, that's a second hell brute.
Do you hear that?
Oh shit.
Where are the traitors?
They are everywhere.
Honored brother, join us, and you may sate your rage and aid our cause.
Lead me to the slaughter.
You said the line.
Bastion against the crushing storm.
Oh, that was glorious. The famed dreadnought scene. I love it. I love this game. Takes the meaning of Big Brother to a whole new level, doesn't it?
Vile sons of madness. Is he here?
He is not.
Pity. Then my hatred must be directed at his minions.
He's a space wolf in ultramarine colors. I love it. Uh-oh.
Penetrate his armor.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Our chance. Go.
Oh, that was brilliant.
This one's mine, brother.
Ah, metal hand. It doesn't burn him. Not as much.
Lieutenant Exarch, rally on my position. Let us burn these heretics to ash.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, he didn't get burned like the other ones. Oh no. I love how they just hid behind the tank and that was enough. Okay, we just jumped into the Immaterium. I love how it's like after the beginning of the game and the intro title screen, this is like the most CG cutscene heavy part of the game. That's just funny to me.
Where is Lord Calca?
It was a trap.
Perhaps.
It's this. The Immaterium.
If it is, we must move quickly.
To where?
We must find Calgar.
The Changer's will is inescapable. Even now we walk upon ancient paths, laid out for us before the first mortal drew breath. Come to me, brothers, that you may fulfill your final duties.
Okay. So this segued into a whole other level, and there's no other objective. I could keep going. Let me think. You know what? Show of hands. Should I do it or should I not do it? You know what? We're right here. We might as well. Guardsmen and demons duking it out. And there's no data slates, right? So I can just keep on going. And Astartes dueling thousand suns. Some kind of temporal anomaly. Out in the real world and in here. What do I got? An auto bolter and a standard gun and a chainsword. So they took away what I had and...
Our brothers, I hear them.
Do not trust your senses.
Lord Calca.
Calgar left you to rot in the Death Watch for a century, Brother Titus.
Coward! Cease cowering behind illusions!
Make a bulwark of your hatred, brothers.
I smell fear.
What was the level called? Duty Without End? Yeah, we're gonna make it a 2-in-1 for this one. Might as well. Or 1.5, since the boss fight's right there.
Where is Lord Calgar?
Bellum's dog has been brought to heel.
Heretic! You died this day!
This is my domain. You are here by my invitation. I am offering you a chance to kneel.
Our chapter, sir, shall use your skull as a piss pot!
Calgar. Still kicking.
Lord Calgar!
Release him! And we shall do you the honor of ending you swiftly.
Release him! After all your efforts in bringing him to me!
Enough games! Silence this heretic.
One last dance before the strings are cut!
I'm just making sure I'm still recording. Yep, I'm still transferring. Chat's been pretty quiet lately. I wonder why. They'll catch up eventually.
You will soon stand at my side, boy!
A proper final boss fight. Something the first game didn't have. Oh shit.
Brothers!
Your pathetic companions are no more.
You lie! You are no match for them, heretic! And so you deceive!
Your brothers buckle beneath the power of the war. Titus, what happened?
This will try and fail to contain you.
Ooh. Ow.
The Demon Lord!
Ow, ow, ow. Foul sorcery.
Go for the eye! All other attacks are useless!
Jeez. Again? Ugh. Wrong way.
The Demon Lord!
Got him.
We are surrounded. Kill as many as you can, brothers. They are mere imitations. More trickery. Guard yourselves. Imra is weakening. That last fight will leave him reeling. Stay together. We must find a way out.
Thousand Suns.
Over there. Something is happening. We should investigate. Watch your step. Lord Calgar! Could be another illusion. We shall find out. Lord Calgar!
My words to you on Talasar. Speak them.
My lord?
Speak them, or be slain for an impostor.
Rules should never make a prisoner of intelligence.
Titus, it is good to see you.
Their sorcerer's power wavers. He is vulnerable. See how his domain weakens as he does. There is only one place left for him to hide.
Let us dig out the heretic.
Yes.
I see him, inside the stream.
He prepares for another attack.
It is the artifact. It must be. There is almost limitless power within that shard.
Then we must make haste, brothers.
Over here, brother. Observe this location.
Yes. He broke it again.
Rise, son of Gilliman.
Oh, was that the Emperor?
Brother, it is over. You did it. Brother!
Rise, Titus. Your duty is not yet done.
For the Emperor! For the Emperor!
He broke it once, he could do it again, and he did. And he took Imura down in the process. He gone. It's like, yeah, they knew he's immune to it, and he knew he was immune to it, so he went and did it, and they trusted him. And he, it's like, yeah. This is not like the last time. Yeah, considering it just literally went into a boss, it's like, yeah, I might as well do it. The whole 1.5 level right there. And I'm glad I did.
Lieutenant Demetrian Titus, your decisive actions have saved this system from ruin. And so it is with great pride that I now present you with an honor worthy of your deeds. The laurels of victory. Let every warrior of the Adeptus Astartes see that here stands the true measure of a son of Guilliman.
For the glory of Ultramar!
Courage and honor!
Company dismissed.
Forgive me, brother, that it took me so long to bring you home.
My lord, that is...
Fierce was my wrath when I learned of your detention. In their arrogant suspicion, the Inquisition failed to recognize the truth. That no evil will ever overcome a devotion such as yours.
Thank you, my lord.
There is a mission. It will take you away from the Second Company for a time.
As you command, Chapter Master.
The Brother Chaplain will brief you. It was he that suggested you for the task.
My lord, the Sword of Calth is ready to depart.
Thank you, Captain. My ship will convey you to your destination. I shall be glad of your company.
Yeah, and this is where...
It has been an honor.
It has indeed, my captain.
I hear you'll be taking your leave of us. Not for too long, I hope. Emperor guide you.
And you, sir.
This is where that secret level chapter happens.
Brothers, I am called to serve elsewhere.
You'll be missed, my lord.
I will not forget the blood we have drawn together.
Nor shall we.
I owe you both a debt. You have restored my faith in brotherhood.
We shall await your return.
Courage and honor.
Courage and honor.
Titus, Lord Kelgar has informed you of your assignment. Good. I will brief you en route.
You are joining us?
I am.
Very good, my lord.
You have done well. You have won the trust of your brothers. And of the chapter master. But know this, Titus. The stain of suspicion never completely fades. I will be watching you. Should you falter on the path, for even a moment.
I will show no mercy.
Son of a bitch.
Leandros.
My lord, it is time.
So yeah, that's how it ends, and that's how we end up with that, I'll be watching you, Titus, yes. And that's how we end up with the, that special episode on that show, Secret Level, which, honestly, Secret Level, it had some good things, but honestly, I didn't care. The vast majority of it, I didn't care too much about. Really, the one thing that everyone unanimously agreed was the best episode in that show was the Space Marine episode, which had Lieutenant Titus in there, taking place right after Space Marine 2. So we did get to see what that quote unquote special mission was. With Titus's old mentor Marine involved, and they went and mopped up another Zeech demon. Well, that's the main Titus story of the game. I really liked it. I really, really, really liked it. It's not what the relic originally entailed. I know they had a different idea in mind. Originally, what they wanted to do was have Titus go rogue and make his own homebrew chapter of sorts. But here they kind of They did kind of pay a bit of lip service to that original idea, with Titus having abandonment issues. Like, hey, why didn't the Ultramarines come and get me for like 100 years? But I do like the story and how they ultimately went about that whole Titus coming back home, and then just not only proving himself to the rest of the company, but of Second Company, but also being like, yeah, they did in fact miss Titus, and that everything just kind of fell apart out of their hands, and that even Calgar really was royally upset as to what happened. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, what the hell? Why did Leandros get promoted to chaplain? Isn't that like one of the holiest of holiest positions to have in an Astartes chapter? It is, but when you think of, but the explanation I heard, and this is one that kind of in a roundabout way makes sense, that because Leandros was promoted to a chaplain, he's now saddled with the responsibility of actually being more careful as to who he judges as a heretic and a traitor. You know, now on one hand, you could probably blame Titus for not being crystal clear with Leandros the first time. Like, hey, we'll talk about the whole artifact thing later and why I'm immune. So you could say that he didn't allow for much clarification, but at the same time, Leandros kind of still technically broke protocol, like going to the Inquisition instead of waiting. But then on a practical sense, you could also argue, yeah, there was no chaplain available, no apothecary or anybody else was available. They were literally all by themselves on their own, and so Leandros made a judgment call. A bad judgment call in hindsight, but one that does admittedly make partial sense. So it's kind of like there was really... He probably should have waited, but at the same time, you know, they were dealing with an unknown, and Titus being mysteriously warp resistant that he was, it's like, yo, what the heck? This can only be bad news. Well, mind you, again, Titus, of course, ended up being so fiercely loyal and pure anyway, that him being imprisoned by the Inquisitor Thrax ended up, in hindsight, not being a good move. But, you know, in hindsight also, it's okay, because Titus came back, further proved himself again, and showed, yeah, whatever it is that I've been born with, it's warp resistant. And from what I've heard in the lore, there's like other Marines that have a similar resistance to warp corruption. I mean, we've seen the Cadians and how a lot, you know, the natural born Cadians, the one with purple eyes, a good number of them are like, yeah, we've been exposed to this shit for so long, we're naturally immune to it. But then what about Titus? I guess he was given the bonus points for at birth for being warp resistant somehow. So I wonder if they'll ever go and further explore that. But more to the point, as for Leandros, it's like, yeah, I don't know if they ever writ a book or short story on it, but I can easily picture it where Marnius Calgar, being as cross as he probably was, being like, hey, you made a bad judgment call, you didn't wait for us to make the final decision, and you sent our boy to be imprisoned for a century. Mind you, Thrax ended up being possessed by a Chaos Demon too, as a retcon, but still. Like, hey, I'm putting you into chaplain duties where you'll no longer be on the front lines like you used to be nearly as much. And now it's like, oh, if you suspect someone of heresy, all right, well, now you're in the position where you have to do that on the daily, and if you are not doing your job correctly, there's going to be a lot of trouble. So in a way, the promotion, as it were, could be argued to be, in fact, a punishment for Leandros over what was a bad call. In some ways, you could say it wasn't an unreasonable one, given the situation, but still, it was one that a lot of people, rightfully, were like, Leandros, what the hell? Like, the dude literally risked everything to go put down Nemeroff that time. I let the guy have, like, a moment in court, as it were. But, overall for the campaign, I enjoyed it. I mean, it is probably shorter than I think it would be because I went and double-dipped with the operations mode, which, by the way, I have not finished because the game didn't allow me to finish it. So, as much as I would have preferred to have the final level be, well, the final level in this playthrough, the game wouldn't let me, so I have to make it like the semi-final, as it were. I liked the Tyrant. I liked how fighting the Tyranids. They do fight similarly to the Orcs because it is very much, you know, mob tactics. You know, send a bunch of guys out there to fight a people and have a couple of higher units, but it is different a bit because in the first Space Marine, you had to basically wipe out everyone. And even if you took out the big guy, you still had a bunch of lemmings to worry about. With the Tyranids, with the whole hive mind thing, it's like, okay, there's a little extra tactic in there involved where if you manage to get the bigger units, the smaller units, fall in the process. Which is cool. It's like I kind of figured that out by myself. It's like, oh, I don't necessarily have to go after the little ones. I can just go after the big one, and they all crumble away into dust. So that's cool. And then of course you have the Thousand Suns, which is your Chaos Space Marine required enemy, just like the first game. So. And of course, you got the Thousand Suns, the regular gun-carrying ones, and then the Scarabs with their swords, and the little bird dudes, and of course, traitor guardsmen. I do personally think I do like the change in enemy faction as it keeps the game fresh, from orcs to Tyranids. I have to be honest, I think I liked fighting the Chosen of Nemeroth more in the first game, because I felt the Thousand Suns were a little too easy. They kind of went down very fast in comparison, whereas in the first Space Marine game, killing a Nemeroth Marine took a lot more effort. They had an energy shield, they had different weapons a lot of the time. I did feel that there was more challenge involved. And there was also good variety, too. What with the occasional floating sorcerer, the bloodletters. I personally just think there was a little more involved with the Nemeroth Marines than it was with the Thousand Suns. I still enjoyed fighting the Thousand Suns, but I do think in terms of challenge and variety sake, I prefer the other one. I also wish there was more boss fights in Space Marine 2. It does feel like there's a tiny bit more compared to the first game, and there is, but a lot of the bosses in the Titus side of things do feel like appetizers for them when they do show up again, because we had the Lictor fight, and once you fought the Lictor, it showed up again a number of other times, and you could basically kill it easily by parrying it and leaving it weak. And of course we had 2 Hellbrute boss fights within a chapter away from each other. However, so yeah, I do really wish that there was a lot more boss fight variety in the Titus campaign, and that there was more to do, because I do think it's like, okay, yes, you can fight the Hive Tyrant and others off to the side in operations, but at the same time, I do wish we could do it as Titus also. It just kind of makes me, feeling like, imagine you had a major boss fight, like, imagine if Bowser was like your final boss in a Mario game, but instead Mario went to go do fight some other guy, and Luigi was left to do it instead. You know what I mean? That's kind of like how kind of, probably not the best comparison, but that's how it feels a little bit. But speaking of final bosses, I will freely say I love the final boss fight with Imora in this game, compared to the Nemeroth fight in the first game, because it really wasn't a boss fight. At least not in the normal sense. Because once you fought off his minions in the first game, you then did that whole falling down, pound him into a bloody pulp thing, which a lot of games in the late 2000s, early 2010s did. The Force Unleashed 2, Star Wars, I think that was the one that really, really started that trend in several games, and it was a stupid trend because it kind of felt like, wow, you're just copying what the other guy did and barely doing anything original with it. It was still satisfying because you still felt powerful once when Titus was putting left and right hooks into Nemeroth's face, but there really wasn't a fight to speak of. It would have been better if there was an actual boss fight where you're fighting, like toe-to-toe, guns blazing, chainsword swinging, and then bookended it with the free-fall shenanigans. But they didn't do that. They just skipped right on over, and it makes me wonder if Relic just ran out of time or what. Whereas here in Space Marine 2, you actually have a proper fight with Nemiroff. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's still fun. Shooting him, parrying him, chainsawing him, and then of course he has the big Zeech Greater Demon coming in to help him. You know, that big ol' bird demon lord, the changer, not the, what do you call it? Not the changer of ways, right? That's a name reserved for either Zeech or the two-headed eagle guy. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I'm not too terribly versed in the chaos shit to remember everything to a T. But I think you know who I mean. The twin-headed eagle dude who's like a major Zeech demon. Can't remember his name. So, yeah, I liked that boss fight very much. Definitely an improvement from the first. As for the general gameplay, it's like, yeah, very much similar to the first Space Marine game, but yeah, they did change some things. Namely, with regards to how the health and armor system works. The armor kind of feels like they took the basic Halo, the original Halo shield and armor system, and kind of reversed it a bit. And then you have the health, where you either have to use health packs or kill an enemy as fast as possible, so that way the health comes back. Kind of like Bloodborne, now I think about it. And the parrying, you get used to it after a while. I like it. It makes sense. And then, of course, the gun strikes. The executions, of course, are as fun as they were the first time. So, the gameplay is still good. I still hate that you can't carry more than 2 big weapons at a time, because I liked that in the first game. You know, handgun, 2 big guns, and melee weapon. I would have liked that if they kept that, but they didn't, because they wanted to make room for other shit. But thankfully, the game does seem to provide you with weapons like every 2 seconds, so if ever something doesn't work with you, you can always change to something else, so it's not a total loss, but not what I would like, but it works. I am a little, and the weapons do feel good. I'm not entirely sold on the sound effects for some of the bolters, because I personally think the first Space Marine game's weapons sounded almost perfect. They sounded like they had a lot of power behind them. Like that bolter pistol in the first game, once you heard it, it was just like, wow, that thing could take a normal person's arm off if you tried to fire it. Whereas here, the guns still sound good once you start firing them yourself, but it does kind of make me feel like they could have added more punch. It's kind of like the problem I had with Doom Eternal, where once you get the assault cannon, you expect that thing to sound meaty and loud and just sounds like it's showering rockets at people, right? Well, no. Instead, it just sounds like a pitiful airsoft gun with a pew, 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 pew. Like, no. Where's the bang, bang, bang? I can't tell you how much that annoyed me in that game. But here, some guns do sound too soft for my liking, but otherwise they feel good and loud enough where it's like, okay, yeah, that's a legit firearm meant for a Superman level warrior. Well, Superman in terms of the whole, super soldier thing, not DC Superman, but you get what I mean. It sounds like something that no normal person would be able to carry. And while, again, I do miss Mark Strong, I do think that Clive Stanton does a very good job as Titus. It just sounds weird at coming into the second game, because he sounds way younger than Strong's version. But overall, he does play the character very good. and I like his character arc. And I do think Titus is probably one of the better characters that I've seen and read over my time reading in 40K, especially for the Ultramarines. A lot of people, you either like the Ultramarines or you don't like them, and I think Titus is like a picture perfect example as to how to write them right, if you know what I mean. And I even liked the two new characters, Chiron and Gadriel. I was kind of like, I wasn't sure if I'd like them or not, truth be told. But after playing through the game and seeing what they go through, I'm like, alright, I like you guys. I want to see you again. And of course, we got the surprise and reveal of Leandros as the chaplain, which of course everyone who played the game was like, oh, you son of a bitch. How dare you show up after what you did? And of course, the moments. There's so many good moments. The standard standoff on the hill with the other Ultramarines holding a defense until Calgar showed up. And yes, freaking that Calgar's entrance is definitely one for the ages. And overall, the gameplay just felt very fun. And the story was fun. Other than the lacking in boss fight variety that got shelved off to operations mode, overall, still very fun, and it's really not surprising that the game became the surprise hit of 2024, and with good reason. Visually, the game still looks good. Blood and bodies flying all over the place. It feels so good to play a game like this again. First Descendant almost had me because there was plenty of head popping in that game, but the game loop was just so derivative after a while that I could not stand it anymore. Whereas this game actually respects your time a lot more. Mind you, I get it. Apples to oranges. One's a live service. This one's not. But the gameplay does feel way more satisfying. And as a result, I don't feel like I'm just twirling through hoops waiting for something good to happen. Like, no. Because, like, First Ascendant was basically, it's Destiny if it was more honest about what it was, but the time sink involved is just too much and repetitive. And I didn't like any of the characters in that game. I liked how some of the characters are designed, like Freyna, the green girl. But once I unlocked Freyna, I was basically done. I wasn't motivated to play the game anymore because the game loop was just so not my cup of tea. Whereas here, it's just like, oh, proper single-player gameplay with good enemy and weapon variety. I am happy. Do I have any other complaints, though? Yeah, kind of. I do think that some of the weapon variety is a little lopsided. You got a ton of bolters in the game. In fact, I think you might have too many bolters in the game because a lot of them do kind of feel too samey. It's like, is there really any difference between the standard auto bolter with the heavy auto bolter? Not really. I didn't personally think there was barely a difference between them other than, oh, one's close range, one's mid-range, like, big whoop. I was able to snipe some enemies further away with the standard one, even before I got the heavy one. So I really don't think the weapon variety is as good as I would have thought. I personally thought the first game kind of did a little more even balance, because you had a weapon that suited every situation. Whereas here, it's like you do have weapons that do fit a good amount of stuff that happens, but some of them do feel like too repetitive. Like, did you really need this weapon to exist? Did you really need that weapon to exist? Like, was there really any reason for the battle rifle Halo? Was there really any reason for the the one bolter that was basically a clone of the Halo battle rifle to exist? Not really. There really wasn't. Many of the enemies in the game really don't feel like the kind that you would be doing 3 burst shots with. Especially with how many of them do swarms at you, and you can just time your shots anyway. So I really don't think some weapons like the 3-round burst bolter even have any reason to exist when you have so many other weapons that basically do the same shit but better. The Oculus bolter, that's the weapon I mained probably the most in the game, because it was just so good at everything. Yeah, it ran through ammo fast, but you could still pace your shots fine and pick off targets from a distance perfectly fine. It was like the best of both worlds weapon. So it was very, very it was very, very few and far between that I ever decided to go and use something else, because that gun was just so effective in just about every situation, except for the boss fights with the Hell Brute, where I had to go look for something else because it just wasn't the best weapon for the job. Also, I did not like the soundtrack nearly as much as the first game. It's not bad, it's just not in the game to a level that ever caught my attention. Like the first Space Marine soundtrack, which was co-written, co-composed by Chris Velasco. And if you don't know who that name belongs to, shame on you. And if you don't, okay, I joke, but seriously, that was one of the composers for the original God of War games, 1, 2, 3, and even the 2 PSP side games. And those soundtracks, oh boy, they defined the late PlayStation 2 generation. I'd say it was up there with the Devil May Cry games. I mean, the Devil May Cry games had great soundtracks too, but those were like rock and roll, heavy metal, gothic metal, whereas God of War had that more bombastic, ancient world sound to them. I would say next to the original Halo games, the soundtrack, the God of War games are up there in terms of grand majesty. So, God of War, the Devil May Cry games, the Halo games, to a certain, and of course some others. I think the Gears of War games, which came later, had pretty good epic soundtracks too. But yeah, the soundtrack for the first Space Marine game was immediately ear-catching. I loved the soundtrack so much that I ended up buying the collector's edition, which, much to my surprise, was still on sale on THQ's website even a year after the game came out. So I bought it because it came with the CD, with the physical CD, and I played that thing in my car for what must have been weeks to months because it was so good. Captain Titus's theme in the first game, delicious. Love it. Has that awesome industrial symphonic sound to it that does perfectly encapsulate the world of Warhammer 40,000, at least to me, for the Imperial side and space and the general Adeptus Astartes theme with how heavy it felt. But Space Marine 2's music, it doesn't really do it for me. It does have a few moments where the music picks up and I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to get something. Like, there's a few things where it's just like, great, oh, look at that, John Peter Bain, Total Biscuit, they dedicated this game to his memory. Yeah, Total Biscuit, he was a real big Warhammer fan, and he loved the first Space Marine. I mean, as soon as he started playing the demo, the man was just in love with it right away. Like, he loved that game just from that demo, and from what I heard, once he got his hands on the rest of it, he played the rest of it, and he loved it. And it is a real shame, a crying shame, that the man passed away way too young and way too soon. because of freaking cancer. To hell with cancer in all its forms. Oh man, I really wish he had lived long enough to play this game. It is a real heavy sadness that he didn't get to see the story continue and see Lieutenant. I'm so used to referring to him as Captain. It is so sad that he didn't live to see Dimitri and Titus return and just witness this game in its majesty. Well, flawed majesty. A lot of people have problems with the multiplayer, justifiably so from what I've seen. But as I was saying, yeah, the music didn't really do it for me. There's only like a few occasions where the music picks up and I'm like, okay, this is good shit. But then after about 5 minutes it goes away. And yeah, there was a collector's edition for Space Marine 2, but other than the statue, I didn't really find any reason to get it. Not to mention, there was no music CD, and even if there was, the music in this game just doesn't hit good enough to warrant my attention anyway. I really wish they brought back Chris Velasco and Saber. Saber, if you're listening, bring back Velasco for Space Marine 3. Please, God, if you're game to bring anyone back from the first game to work on the next game, be it Velasco, because you need that man's mute composition talent, and you need it badly because this game was just not it in the music department. So yeah, the main Titus stuff is done, but we're technically not done because we still have 2 missions left from operation mode, which is very fun in its own way. I do like that the operation kind of serves as a side campaign and you're not forced to play it online with multiplayer. You could do it offline yourself, which I can respect. Oh, look at that, we're back on the ship. Battle barge map. Utilize the map to navigate between locations and acquire information about your squad. So yeah, that's all. I can't do any of that for single player. See, look at that. They didn't allow us to do it the first time, so we gotta do it in a different way. I don't know who I want to pick, to be honest. Tactical, Bulwark, Vanguard, Assault. I'll go with Tactical for now. Utilize the map to fast travel. Yeah, nothing new. Not here anyway. But there probably is further back.
Good to see you keeping up your training, brother. Be sure you leave time to meditate upon death.
Yes, sir. Okay, ordeals. Yep. Campaign stuff. What's this? Kill enemies using Righteous Fury. Hit tent. They wanted me to hit objects during the drop. Why would you do that? That goes against everything. Everyone's ever been trained for stuff like that. Why? So, yeah, if I can give... So, with that said, I liked the campaign a lot. It hits very strong. It's not perfect, but it did a lot of what they set out to do, and they largely did it right. So I hope that, all things concerned, Saber will take feedback to heart, and they do. And then they come in swinging again, mightier, with Space Marine 3, and I can't wait to see how that game goes and what they are cooking up. I do hope they do better on the soundtrack next time. I do hope that there's more room for armor customization in the campaign also for next time, and that the helmets, when we toggle to wear them, actually go on with the cutscenes too, the in-game ones. And pretty overall, good campaign, very fun. Can't wait to play it again on a harder difficulty next time. But we're technically not done yet. We still have the last 2 operation missions to go by. One of them clearly is meant for the end of the game, and that's Obelisk. The other one, Exfiltration, from what I understand, this one is another Tyranid one, and I'm wager to assume, much like the Ballistic Engine, it's one that was supposed to technically happen chronologically, as well as Termination, much earlier in the game. So the order of where they happen is kind of lopsided, but I'll get to them. Will I do them tonight? I don't think so. If anything, I'll probably either do it tomorrow morning before I go to work or Wednesday when I come back from work. I don't know which. I haven't made up my mind yet, but that's basically what it's looking like. Unless I somehow have time tonight, which is a possibility, but I doubt it. So that's basically it for all of the Titus missions in Space Marine 2. Again, I liked it a lot. Not perfect, but it did a lot of things right. Now we have to mop up the last of the campaign with the last 2 operations missions, which I will do in the next stream, whenever that'll be. So that is it. Thank you all for watching. The Imperator. I'll be back later.